Hello, welcome to a new vlog and trip report. Today we're traveling with a very special train. We're traveling with a heritage train from Nördlingen to Wassertrüdingen, and here on the map you can see our route today. Just 2 videos ago we've been to Nördlingen, but then we continued on to Donauwörth, and today we are now taking the train from here, from Nördlingen on to Wassertrüdingen on the railway line Nördlingen-Pleinfeld. We're starting here at the station of Nördlingen, and we can take a look at my train today here at the platform. You can see the historic carriages that we are using today. Those are so-called Eilzugwagen of the type C4I 36. Here we can see the nice and comfortable interior of those trains. And here we are already leaving the station of Nördlingen. My carriage, the Eilzug carriage, was built for the so-called Eilzüge. Those are regional trains, could be compared nowadays to regional express trains, and my specific carriage was already built in the year 1939. It's a second class carriage, and in this carriage we're now leaving Nördlingen. In the background you already saw the line to Aalen branching off that we have traveled on 2 videos ago, and here we can now see the railway line to Dombühl branching off, which currently is not in use. It was used until a few years ago also by the Bayerische Eisenbahnmuseum, the Bavarian Railway Museum that is operating this train here, but in the moment it's not possible to use the railway line to Dombühl. So we are now going to Wassertrüdingen, and the train then continues on to Gunzenhausen. This service is also known as the Seenland Express, the Lake District Express. The most interesting part of the railway line is the part between Nördlingen and Wassertrüdingen, because that's the part that is not used for other trains, so there are usually no passenger trains on that railway line. Since 2024 there are trains between Wassertrüdingen and Gunzenhausen, but here on this part of the line there are only a handful of trains each year. Our first stop is in Dürrenzimmern, but it's a stop on request, so either there has to be someone on the platform or you have to report to the train staff that is also selling the tickets for the train. As there was nobody at the platform and nobody wanted to leave the train here, we are going through the station without stopping. The next stop is in Oettingen, which is a bigger city with more than 5,000 inhabitants. Therefore, we are stopping there in any case, even though there were not many passengers leaving or boarding the train. After the station of Oettingen, we can enjoy the most beautiful part of the railway line until Wassertrüdingen, as we are crossing the river Wörnitz. Once again, we've already seen the river a couple of times in the second to last video. I was a bit unlucky today, as the window at my seat didn't open. Even the conductor tried to open it, but it was not possible. Of course, that can happen with a train that is almost 90 years old. Here we are approaching the station of Oettingen, and as the train was pretty crowded, it was not possible to show you the sound in the carriage, but I can show you the sound at the end of the carriage at the doors, where I also found out that you can open the windows there as well. Here we are now approaching the Wörnitz bridge. We're crossing the river Wörnitz, which in my opinion is the most beautiful part of this railway line. And after that there's a bend to the left where I can also take a slight look at our locomotive today. We are traveling with a steam locomotive of the class 52. That's a steam locomotive with the number 528168. Was built in 1943 by Krauss Maffei and was mainly used for freight trains. Here we can see it again. And with this locomotive we are now heading to Wassertrüdingen. There's a specific reason why I'm leaving the train already in Wassertrüdingen, even though it's continuing on to Gunzenhausen, and that is that it's already planned to take a look at the reactivated railway line between Gunzenhausen and Wassertrüdingen in the near future, and therefore I'm leaving the train here in Wassertrüdingen. Here we have another stop on request at Auhausen, and then we are heading on to Wassertrüdingen. I wanted to film the train leaving Wassertrüdingen, but unfortunately there were some problems. Apparently, as I heard, there was a problem with a switch of the track in Kronheim, where my train was supposed to meet the oncoming train, the regular passenger service to Wassertrüdingen. But as apparently the switch was broken, the train had to wait until the oncoming train was reaching Wassertrüdingen. And also probably because of that switch, this train was also delayed, so I waited 15 to 20 minutes, but there was still nothing happening. So unfortunately I cannot show you the departure of my train here at Wassertrüdingen, but luckily I was getting picked up there in Wassertrüdingen, and therefore we can take a look at the arrival of my train in a few seconds. So of course that was also a bit unlucky, but luckily I anyway wanted to leave the train in Wassertrüdingen. It's always very nice to travel with those heritage trains. It was very interesting, and I can highly recommend taking such a heritage train here from Nördlingen on in the direction of Gunzenhausen. Here we are arriving in Wassertrüdingen. Now we can take a look at the arrival of my train. And that's already it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here you can see when the next video will be uploaded and the name of the song. As always, I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to comment, like, subscribe or share the video link, and I hope to see you in my next video then.